Yes, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode where I get to talk about what is happening in the World Cup currently. Say what you want about the timing of the World Cup and the fact that we have to wake up or stay awake up until 4 a.m., 5 a.m. watching Haiti and Jordan play. The games have really been fun, and it has been quite interesting for each and every one of us to watch. I know the smaller nations have been having fun, even some of the bigger nations have not had the results that they wanted, but notwithstanding, the first 5 days of the World Cup has been tremendous fun for not just the neutrals, but for fans that have allegiances to the nations being represented. And one topic I would like us to discuss or have a talk on today is the idea around politics having huge involvement in football. News came out today that the US President Donald Trump would be allowed to present the FIFA World Cup trophy to the eventual winners of the tournament, and that has led to quite divisive uproar across the footballing community. Because on one hand, a lot of persons are saying football and politics should not mix. On the other hand, there's a school of thought or a set of fans that are saying you should just let him be. This is not the first time that we are seeing Trump inject himself into a football frenzy. We saw him do the same thing in the FIFA Club World Cup last year, coincidentally around this time, and it was held in the US, where Chelsea beat PSG 3-0. And during that final, he handed the trophy to Rhys James. And ideally, for persons that are handing out trophies to the captains, to the winning team, you hand off the trophy and then you leave. But Trump stayed back and was part of the celebration. Even Rhys James did not want to raise the trophy, lift the trophy. He wanted Trump to like move, but he stood there, and Rhys James couldn't do anything. He could just have to lift up the trophy, and he joined in the celebration. So that's on one hand. So there are a couple of persons that are saying the same thing is going to happen this time around. He's still going to inject himself into that situation and be part of that frenzy. And he's not supposed to be that occasion or that moment. It's supposed to be for the players, the winning team, the coaches, and the staff alone. But we know Trump. Trump is, I don't want to say larger than life in itself, but Trump has this presence. Trump is well known across. He's the most, if not top two most popular person in the world, and he has this kind of omnipotent presence around him. Say what you want about him, he's a social ball, he's a social magnet, and he would always want to inject himself into such situations. So the argument that politics and football should not get intertwined, I feel persons are saying this because it's Trump, right? Persons are saying this because it's Trump. Because if you remember, I think Rugby World Cup 1996 or 1998, I think this was in South Africa. Nelson Mandela handed over the trophy to the South African captain. I can't quite remember his name now. And there was no uproar. There was no uproar at all. Everybody, that felt like a unifying act, right? That felt like a very unifying act because it was Nelson Mandela. We all know the story of Nelson Mandela and all what he had gone through. But that act of him presenting that Rugby World Cup trophy to South Africa, right, to the Springboks, felt like a unifying act. But on the other hand, if Trump should hand over the World Cup trophy to any of the winners 2026, it might be seen as a divisive act. So on one hand, we've had experiences where the more palatable presidents or political figures have had leeways in doing the same thing that he would be doing in a few weeks' time. And there was no uproar then, right? But right now he will be doing it, and they seem to be like there'll be uproar. Persons don't want it to happen because of what Trump stands for. And this entire World Cup has been marred with lots of visa issues, lots of teams finding it difficult to have um, their visas approved. They've had issues at the border. They've had issues checking in. So it has been quite divisive when it comes to um, um, what the World Cup stands for, which is the world, unifying the world, and having such a this divisive person be at the center of it would cause much more um, much more frenzy, much more commotion, if I should put it that way. But notwithstanding, at the end of the day, it's still football. At the end of the day, it's still 22 players trying their best to ensure that the nation win. And come what may, come what the winning team would put out that day, I want to believe football will still be the winner that day, and Trump will just be a footnote on that final day. So whoever the winning team would be, I guess they will still have their moment in the sun to lift the trophy and celebrate. So whether Trump decides to stand there with them or not, it will not take away from the hard work that that team would put in. I'm sure all the big nations that already have a huge stake in getting to the finals. I'm talking about the France team, the English team, Argentina, Germany, Portugal, Spain, Brazil, even. So all of those teams, I know in their minds they're already prepared for it. They would not allow that swell their mood or swell the occasion. And just like how the Chelsea players during the Club World Cup still enjoyed themselves, still celebrated, were still cheerful, were still happy. It doesn't matter who is handing you that trophy. What matters is you get your hand on that trophy, you get your hands on that trophy, and you raise it up. You raise it up triumphantly because you've conquered the world and you are the reigning world champion for the next 4 years. So I wouldn't want this to be like a major issue. I know it's still going to be an ongoing conversation, even as we get close to the final. We'll be having more talks on it. I know the media outlets will also have their say when it comes to this. But notwithstanding, again, it shouldn't take away from the occasion, from the final, from the fact that there will be a winning team that day and they will be getting their hands on the trophy. So it doesn't matter who is handing them that trophy. The most important thing is that they get their hands on that trophy. So let me hear your thoughts on this. Should football and politics mix? What's your view on having Trump present this trophy to the players and he will be a part of the celebration? So share your thoughts on the comment section. I would like to hear your own view and see your take on this. Until we meet again, thank you very much. Like, share, and subscribe.